I'm about to feed him to the sharks right now. Get him hype right now. Yeah. You know the ground is up. Yeah. Everybody that trains, you know the game. Yeah. So let's get it. Slap it up, bump it, and roll. Hey. Yeah, that's the way that it goes. Ain't no better way to better yourself in this game. You're feeling the growth. That's time on the mat. We put in the work. Believe it ain't easy, I know. But we train for the love of the game, the love of the art. Now slap it up, bump it, let's roll.
Welcome to episode 28 of the BJJ Campaign Podcast. My name is Jeff Boone. I'm an A3, blue belt, 2 stripes.
This is Phil Coors, A2, blue belt, 1 stripe.
So Philly, today we're going to be talking about the promotions. Not just our promotions, but promotions of our friends across the country. Mm-hmm. I'm going to start out with a story from a guy. I told him he would be anonymous. So we're just going to say his name rhymes with Schmug Schmluter. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
could be anybody.
Could be anybody.
Yeah.
So Schmug, he goes to his promotions, and what do you think? What do you think happens? What do you think he forgets?
His gi.
Nope, doesn't forget his gi.
He's got that.
Yes, got his gi. What's most important to bring? I would say just about every time, not just time of promotions.
I'd say the belt. Have you ever forgot your belt?
Never.
No?
You?
No.
Never.
Have you ever left it behind?
Never. You?
No, but I'm sure I will tonight.
Maybe. It's a possibility.
No, I have OCD now. Came out of nowhere like 2 years ago where I triple check everything I do apparently now. Like doors locked and stuff.
Especially on the academy, right?
I don't even
have it. I don't
even have anything worth taking, and I still check. I don't know.
Yeah, and just the reason I think that we're paranoid about leaving our belt, and the reason that I put my belt in my gear bag the very first thing every time whenever I'm done, is because at our academy, if you leave your belt, it ends up in the rafters, and you have to be embarrassed by the picture that goes on Facebook of your belt in the rafters. And, everybody's saying it's tough, but it's fair, mm-hmm. and all that, where it's just really funny.
Has anybody ever forgotten it twice?
Yeah. Andy Phil forgot his twice in 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Just happened. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah. And it's a brand new purple belt, too.
Do they have a rope over there?
No. I don't know how. The last time I saw it, they were getting on people's...
Like a broom and stuff.
Yeah, there was... Yeah, and whoever does it wraps it around and ties it in a knot and everything. Theirs is much more cruel than ours. Ours, we just put it by a rope that you can actually climb and do it. So Schmug forgot his belt on the day of promotions. He got his blue belt not too long ago, so you can figure it was going to be too much of a problem. And unlike our academy, where if you forget your belt, you get to wear the 20-stripe pink belt.
Yeah.
Their academy, they actually give you a loaner belt. Well, the only loaner blue belt they had was an A5, and Doug is an A3.
Who?
Schmug.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
Cat's out of the bag, Schluter. Sorry, I tried to make you anonymous, but it didn't happen. And so whenever they call him up for the stripe, and he's like, oh God. So his Professor Felipe, he's like, hey, I forgot the belt. He's like, yeah, I gave you the loaner belt, and just pipe down and take the picture. So I thought that was a hilarious story to share, and I think he mentioned to me that was the only time he's ever forgot his belt.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's how it works. It's just life.
The one time in his thousands of classes going to jiu-jitsu, he forgets his belts for promotions.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So promotions, I'm sure everybody recognized on the intro. I got another stripe. Was happy about that. You got a stripe on your blue belt, the first one.
Yep.
Just to disclose, whenever I got my stripe, felt like the energy in the class wasn't as big as it could be, so I just ran around the whole class slapping hands.
I noticed that, and then when I walked up, Steve was like, "Are you gonna do a lap?" And I was like, "Nope." Definitely not.
Well, you gotta have a little bit of show me sometime. Yeah. But yeah, it does. Getting a stripe, any promotions that you get, it does make you feel good because you're on that path, right? You're on the right path. You're doing what's expected of you and learning and getting better. And, it's, I like our stripes. I'm not, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. The promotions mean less and less the further I get along in this journey.
I don't feel like I got a blue belt a couple months ago, and I don't feel like I've made many steps in a couple months, trying a lot of new stuff, but like it's funny with the white belt steps, it went from like I don't know anything to like the knowledge gain was so much faster because it was from zero,
Oh, for sure.
So like I could see like by the time I was a one stripe, I was like maybe starting to spar a little bit,
I thought you waited till like 3 stripes to spar.
I don't know. I'm trying to make that disappear. So
It's not going to. It's not going to.
But like, yeah, then by the time it was like 3 stripes, I was rolling a little bit and kind of figuring a few things out. By the time I was 4 stripes, I kind of had a couple ideas of things I wanted to try to do. So the difference in like 3 stripes there was enormous. And probably will be by the time 3 stripes comes. But just this one in particular, it's like, I don't know. I feel like if you would have said that every time, I would have said the same thing.
Me too. Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
That whole sentence and paragraph was a waste of time.
I don't think it was a waste of time because we'll just, cut it in now that we're using GarageBand to do it. We'll just cut it in every time we get a stripe or something.
Thinking back now, so from 0 to 1 on blue, from 0 to 1 on white belt, I would have said about the same thing. From like 2 to 3 on white belt, I would have said I don't feel that much different.
Yeah.
I never would change that answer, I don't think.
I don't think so either.
Oh, well.
I don't think so either. But yeah, I thought that was a funny story about Doug.
Yeah, I can't. That would. We have a friend who forgot their belt to promotions. I'll never forget that either. That was just hilarious, that whole situation. But so that's an interesting one. Luckily, I've never forgot it. I'm sure I will.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sure everybody does.
Me too. I've tried to put processes in place so that I do not forget it at the academy, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I double checked that I had a thing. Like I'll have my bag and I pretty much wear what I'm gonna wear to jiu-jitsu at this point, and I bring a change of clothes for like when I leave. I still like double check my bag 4 times before I actually. Yeah. Like I'll be backing out of the driveway, like reaching in the bag. I can feel the belt. I'm like, good to go.
Yeah, the belt. The rest I can leave. I don't care.
That's like,
yeah. But yeah, so just putting out there all the belt promotions. We had a ton. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 promotions, 6 promotions to blue belt. Mm-hmm. That's a big step in an academy, so congratulations to Shannon, Dion, Chris, Barry, Joe, and Joey. That was a big step, Joey, from his green belt. He's been training 11 years. We've talked about him before. It was really emotional. Really enjoyed that, getting his father, John, our professor, to tie his belt on, that blue belt. Meant a lot. I think it meant a lot to everybody there. I'm sure it meant the most to John and Joey, but it meant a lot to everybody there.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to see. And I think I told Joey the other day, I was like you keep seeing every once in a while, Jad will post a picture of him like a couple years ago, and it's the difference, not only in jiu-jitsu, but just like size. And it's like everybody else. I was like, everybody else got to beat up on you. As soon as I got here, you were the same size as me and better. Not fair. Everybody else got a couple years worth of you being small. So.
Yeah, he is getting big, strong, everything. And some of the kids in the kids program, with Gavin with his yellow belt and Tony with his
yellow orange.
Yeah. And last and certainly not least, someone who I hope will come on the podcast at some point in time, because I really look up to him, and he embodies what a martial artist is. Charlie teaches our Muay Thai. He's a black belt in judo, teaches our judo class, and is now strapped on that fresh Faija Marome brown belt.
Oh, I knew.
You knew?
Of course.
You know we got to be working on our Portuguese for Francisco when we go to origin camp, okay?
I've been slacking.
Yeah, I know. I only know the belts, so. But yeah, that was a big promotion. Charlie's someone who's technically phenomenal and is somebody I really love rolling with, and kind of transitions into our next kind of topic. And I posted it on the BJJ campaign Facebook page, but it was the YouTube video of Marcelo Garcia with the 3 modes of training.
Yeah, I really like that video.
Me too.
I watched it the other day, and it's a couple different like takeaways and stuff. I really like, because I get into that. I've been doing a lot better, I think, the last 2 weeks since we took a lesson with John on some daily HEVA entries and stuff, and that's pretty much as far as I've gotten, but it's enough that it got me out of the constant closed guard syndrome I was having, where I just wouldn't open it. No matter how many weeks in a row I sat here and said I need to just stop doing it or just try a sweep or something. So I've finally been able to kind of open up a little bit to the point where I'm forcing myself to do it almost every time, and not be that conservative. But he goes over the different, a couple of different styles of training, and he demonstrates each one for like a minute and a half or 2 minute round or something. And he does a conservative style, and then he does a extremely risky, sloppy, overly aggressive, whatever word you want to say, style. And then he does one that kind of balances the two, where he's attacking and taking some risks, but he's not being so overly aggressive that he's leaving himself open to lose entire positions and things like that.
Yeah, and I think, and I may be wrong here, and I'm sure the listeners will correct me if I am, but I think that was Gianni Grippo, who's unbelievable. Jiu-jitsu, who he was going up against. And yeah, I mean, you summed it up very well. And what I liked about what Marcelo said at the very beginning of that was that in training, it's not competition. Therefore, you should be playing risk all the time, right? And I think he meant, in the context of it, I think that he meant you should be playing risk all the time to where you're putting yourself in those positions to A, defend, and also B, submit. But then he went on later to say that you also have to practice when you're going to take the risk, like he did in that third roll, so that you know in a competition what it is. And even if it's not a competition, just simply getting better at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. I just thought it was really cool, because that's something even as aware of it as I am, and I have been. Like, I have proof of myself saying these things, and I'm still going to class and not doing them. I'm saying every week I need to work on sweeps and figure out an open guard for 2 months, and I'm going to class, and as soon as I start rolling, my guard's closed, and I'm trying to get a triangle or a cross choke. It's like, so, that's with me constantly being like criticizing what I'm doing after class, like looking back and thinking about what I should have done. Maybe not each individual role, but just as an overall theme or concept or whatever, or attempted to do, So I think it's definitely good to be aware of it, because even in my case, knowing it, I'm still not, opening up. And that's not necessarily risks like I'm trying to do my cool, sweet cartwheel guard pass, which I'm proficient at.
Super good at that.
Seems kind of risky.
Really good at that.
I'm very proficient at that now. So, like,
I
that
almost got that on legs the other night, and by almost, I mean not at all.
Yeah. We're about the same level of proficiency. So, I'm shockingly good at cartwheels, though. I found them pretty easy to do. I was kind of surprised.
I'm not bad myself.
Like, when we were doing the warm-ups, I think the judo class was like the first time I had done a cartwheel in like 20 years or something. And I was like, I can do these.
I'd be worried if it wasn't the first time that you did them in 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, do them all
Just
the time.
Practice your cartwheels.
It's getting the mail. So
just like skipping when we do that in warm-ups.
Get water after class. You can stop skipping. So like the cartwheel one obviously is like a risky technique, you know. But I mean, I look at it more just in my overall rolling, where it's, you know, like I won't even want to open the guard, and that's being hyper conservative all the time as far as I'm concerned. Where I should, if I don't ever start doing it, and I say it all the time, but if I don't ever start doing it, I'm never gonna figure it out, you know. And I finally, the last couple weeks, started forcing myself to do it, and of course I'm having fun with it, same as everything else.
Not only will you not get a better open guard, but you also won't get better at guard recovery.
Yeah,
it will impede your progress in guard recovery, right? Because when you're opening your guard, inherently you've got more risk of being passed, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to play devil's advocate to what you were talking about you know, getting upset with yourself or saying to yourself that you needed to open up. I feel like that time that you spent in closed guard was time well spent, because I feel like I don't spend enough time in closed guard. I'd rather open up immediately and work from that. Whereas my closed guard game is not as refined as what yours is. And I think it's just that working on that. And that's something I am going to work on. Mm-hmm. But working on that, I think working on that really helped your jiu-jitsu. I think that you having those closed guard attacks, especially you being one of the smaller people, it's important for you to have the closed guard attacks, mm-hmm. right? I mean, to threaten so that you don't get passed, your guard doesn't get broken, those sort of things. So I think while I agree, yeah, work that open guard, I think that was time well spent for you in the closed guard.
Yeah. I don't really think there's a way doing, like, training jiu-jitsu that you could necessarily waste your time. I feel like you're always learning stuff. For me, like, personal growth wise, when you kind of know you have nothing, you know, like I know I don't have sweeps. I know I don't have a lot of options from the top because I don't fight for it, number one. And I don't, that's mainly it. You know, even when I get there, I don't have a lot of options because I don't fight to get there in the first place. I will accept being on the bottom in the closed guard willingly most times. And it's just the past 3 months or whatever is when I started, might be longer than that, I don't know. But like the last couple of months, I remember Dan talking to me one day, I think maybe around Thanksgiving, which is way longer than 3 months ago now. I was told, you need to get on top. And I was like, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is hard.
Yes. That it is. That it is.
But I think obviously the reason I have liked the open guard idea is it keeps people away from you. Easier sweeps. It's easier for me to essentially like trip somebody or take their whole balance away when they're standing than it is for me to flower sweep somebody when they can post their hand, because I'm not good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And have you worked any in aside from the positional sparring that we've done, any in half guard with that?
Half guard? No, not really.
Is that something you're thinking about?
Yeah, I still just do the same couple things all the time. Just either trying to like kind of from the bottom, it's always trying to get back to the closed guard. From the top, it's always trying to kind of like either head and arm, like smash past like a head and arm, or just take them out kind of pass. Same one, or knee cut kind of out of the other side. I don't really, it's super rare that I'll be kind of going for a head and arm and then transition to like attacking the arm bar or something on the arm that's out, mm-hmm. When I'm isolating. Yeah. It's super rare that I get there.
Yeah. I love the half guard now, with James Klingerman's opposite side half guard that he did, and we posted on the Facebook page. It reminded me, I rarely play, I'm always on my right hip whenever I'm in half guard, and I've been playing that left hip in half guard, and it's weird. Mm-hmm. It's weird, but it's fun. It's fun, and really it's going to that, you really do have to, on most techniques, train both sides, and that's every time, and I'm left-handed. Every time.
You're left-handed?
Inside joke, folks. Yes, I am left-handed. But every time that I do that, it feels weird. that going to opposite side, whether it's a move or playing the half guard. But guess what? In very short time, I've kind of acclimatized myself to that left, and I'm working the same sweeps that I would work whenever I'm in.
I feel like it's easier the second time because you know the steps. You're just reversing them in your head versus trying to remember the order and the timing and the feeling and everything. I feel like the second side should be a little bit easier.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Although it still does get confused and jumbled up in my head.
Yeah, it probably does because every time I go to... I don't know if it was last Friday or the Friday before, but Ryan went to do that standard like knee in the middle guard break. And he did it the other way. It was like... Not
putting the right knee in?
Yeah.
He put the left knee in?
Yeah. I was like, who
breaks the guard that way?
What are you doing? I was like, you're doing it wrong. I was like, you're going the right...
Phil, the one stripe blue belt, telling Ryan, the black belt.
I actually though I'm like literally I asked him, I'm like, why are you going that? I was like, nobody goes that way. I was like, I can't flower sweep you the normal way. Why are you going the other way? I was like, what am I supposed to do here? And he just laughs and he goes, I don't know why I learned it that way, but I break the guard the other way. I'm like,
he's like, exactly. Nobody does it.
I'm totally lost. Totally lost. All he did was put his other knee in the middle. I'm like, now what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu's hard.
It is hard, but I'm going to tell you this, and I'm saying it as kind of a documentation of where I'm at, just having the second stripe on my blue belt. And honestly, Phil, though I'm still a very slow learner at jiu-jitsu, honestly, in the last month, I've felt the techniques whenever John's teaching them or Ryan's teaching them. I've felt them, even if it's a new technique, I'm able to grasp it just from the concepts that have already been, that foundation that's already been laid. Mm-hmm. I feel like I'm grasping the moves, new moves in particular, better, and learning details more efficiently now than I ever have. And again, it's more of a documentation more than anything. And I'm super excited about that. I mean, I don't know. I think that every time it's awesome because every time, I've seen our fundamentals curriculum, I don't know how many times. 20 times?
6.
No, it's way more than 6 times. But, and I always pick up a new detail. But now I feel like I'm refining and working on those details that I pick up actually instead of just trying to do the move. So it's been an interesting and a fun part of this campaign that we're on here in the last couple of months because of that.
Yeah. No, that's cool. And just to tie it back though, I would check out that video if you get a chance because it's cool. It's always cool to hear somebody else say the same kind of thing, and I think I learn a little bit. Everybody seems to say it a little bit different, and then sometimes it clicks, sometimes it doesn't, whatever. But it was cool on the different ways to train because I think people get stuck kind of doing what works or what's comfortable because I do it.
Everybody does it, man. Everybody does it. And
I think pushing yourself past that is what makes it better. Because in my head, it's like, I have the closed guard. I feel like it's not going to go away, if I can threaten other stuff and then people fall into the closed guard, I feel like it's just going to make it that much easier.
And, I'll give an example, and I didn't do this for the longest time, but I'll give an example of, especially those that you train that are either better than you or of the same level than you. Before, I would do everything I could to retain guard, right? I mean, that's what I would do. And then, especially if it's a 5-minute round, when they passed guard, it was 3.5 minutes into the round. We weren't getting in many positions other than closed guard, which, in my opinion, is a useless role if that's the way you do it. And I'm not saying that I'm letting people pass my guard because I'm not. I'm just not trying. I'm trying more things that give them the opportunity to pass the guard, but also give me the opportunity to get more sweeps or to get more submission attempts or things of that nature. And plus, I'm doing them right off the bat such that we have time to get in different positions. And guess what? Yeah. If I can't recover and they catch me, great. We're going to reset and we're still going to get in more positions and I'm going to get better at defense and all of those elements that we've gone through.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that. I can't count how much time I spent in that stacking position, and I'm still fine there. Like if you stack me, I can deal with it. It's not like a.
I mean, not if I stack you, but.
Oh yeah, I understand. Yeah, I can deal with it for longer than people seem to think I'm going to.
Right.
You know, it's not like a killer position for me for whatever reason, but I've also gotten better at kind of spinning out and recovering guard and just not dealing with it, because most times when I just stay in that stack position for a long time, I'm just what did Jeremy the one say, or whatever said? It's like if you have no plan, you're not doing anything, right?
Yeah.
So him saying that didn't necessarily factor in because I'm not smart enough to put that together until just
now.
But that's kind of the point where it's like I'm not accomplishing anything, so I might as well either let them pass, try to recover, not let them pass, but they've already passed.
Yeah.
Stop fighting this last step, figure out a way to recover, or just they're going to pass, start trying to shrimp away and recover, get a knee and whatever, because I'm not going to just magically kick them away with the back of my leg off my nose.
Not while you're being stuck.
I'm already way too late. Move on, you know? So, same thing. Perfect.
Yeah, never fails. That's the time to switch to our next subject. That's the segue indicator is what they call that.
Now, if we didn't have to restart the podcast so many times today because I was laughing like an idiot beforehand, we would have been done by now.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Did you want to talk about the how you really enjoy the Facebook groups dealing with jiu-jitsu and some of the posts that they've had lately?
Yeah, we can go over some of those because like I don't know, because like I guess there's just weird people everywhere. It's just like amazing some of the things that you read. Like they're legitimate. I can't tell because like that's also the kind of thing I would think would be hilarious to just write and just see what people respond with.
To summarize the post that Phil is speaking of, someone posted in one of the forums that we're both in that they didn't feel that their coach was teaching them jiu-jitsu that was applicable to them.
Right. Didn't work for them. The stuff they were doing, they couldn't do in live roles. Didn't work for them. So what should they do? Should they try to do private lessons? Or, you know, YouTube videos, or buy DVDs. Yeah, don't laugh yet. This is a serious question. Or buy because jiu-jitsu doesn't work. Or buy DVDs. So it's like, on the one hand, I could see somebody like me with my stupid sense of humor typing that out, thinking, this is hilarious. People are going to take this serious and they're going to really respond. I can't wait. You know, on the other hand, like,
I 100% think he was trolling.
Like, because there's some questions you just see, and these arguments that you read sometimes, you're just mind blown.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't even know how to respond to that. I didn't respond to it, but
I would love to know what techniques don't work.
I don't know. I mean, well, a lot for me, but that's because I'm not good at them.
Yeah. So what techniques don't work?
Oh no, the technique works fine. I just don't do it right.
That's one of my favorite jokes too. When somebody shows me something, I'm like, yeah, that technique doesn't work. I don't like it. But yeah, no, I just the whole thing to just, I don't know. I was dying laughing. I had to send you the screenshot. Make sure you saw it.
You get so upset over those things, though.
Sometimes, yeah.
You really do.
I remember when I realized, like, all right, I'm finally getting mad at somebody on the internet, and I can't believe they just won.
They did win. They did win.
Yeah, happens.
Totally.
But yeah, no, I just thought that one was hilarious. We'll have to figure out a way to like anonymously repost these hilarious questions.
Maybe we'll just troll the BJJ campaign podcast Facebook page.
Just repost.
Put those. Yeah.
See what people say. Man, maybe that would be a great question next time we have like a really proficient like black belt guest. Just ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu doesn't work for me. What are your thoughts? Could possibly be that
you're gonna have to ask that question. I'm not gonna ask.
It's just absurd, but it was funny. No, I mean it is funny.
It's hilarious, and so I want to go into something else, another topic, and that is kind of related to that post, right? You said the techniques didn't work for him. Well, I think I've kind of found a hack to, and I hope John's not listening. He's in Florida having a great time training. He's probably not listening. But I think I've found a hack to getting your professor to train the techniques that you want to be trained.
What's that?
True or false, Phil, do you think?
I don't know. What do you think? What's the hack?
The hack is, it's not really a hack, all right? It's get super obsessed with one thing that they teach in an advanced class and then drill it before the class and let them see, and multiple people drill it before the class and let them see it, and then they expand upon that in the next advanced class.
Seems like that works.
It did work. I don't know if it did work, but I want to say it did work.
Yeah. I think no matter what they show, you're going to be happy with it.
I know, but I felt like it was speaking to me though, Phil.
Joey had me cracking up because that's what we've had the inside joke back and forth forever. Anytime one of us had missed a class, it would immediately be a text after the class like, "Oh yeah, we did that thing.
Best class ever."
Yeah, you missed out big time. Like you would have solved all these problems for you. And Joey did that because I found a mounted triangle. Like I just scroll on Facebook and this video comes up and I'm like, see the position? I'm like, that looks like what we did. And there it is, so I shared it to a chat group, and Joey's like, I missed one class, and I just started dying because that's, what we've always said.
Yeah, and then we all post, best class ever.
Yeah. Make sure it gets rubbed in.
Yeah.
That's how you get more people to show up.
It works. It's marketing. That's what it is. Yeah, that was
100%.
funny whenever Joey, as the class after his blue belt,
showed up late.
Late just for rolling.
Yeah.
We ribbed him a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, new blue belty showing up just for rolling now. Don't need the technique anymore.
It's hilarious.
Oh, goodness. The last topic that we're going to kind of take a look at is, it was one where I don't remember where the post was or if it was just somebody talking. Oh, no. Somebody just chatting about things conditioning wise that you can do outside of jiu-jitsu to have better conditioning with jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts?
I think like running, I would assume. Running and the other stuff. What is that other stuff? The HIIT workout stuff? I would assume those would be the big ones.
I've heard that. I've heard swimming.
Swimming would make sense.
Yeah, I've heard swimming. The biggest response to that, whenever that gets posted anywhere, is to do more jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
To do longer rounds.
I would say that's the best cardio you could do for it. However, if you weren't able to get there, if you're just, there's just no way you're going to be able to train more than twice a week, I would assume the other things, anything that helps for anything else, I would assume is going to help.
I think any interval training, so anytime you get your heart rate up, just like jiu-jitsu, right? Yeah. Anytime that you do those bursts, maybe it's mountain biking where you're going up and down hills and really doing that intervals type training where you get your heart rate up and then let it go back down, get your heart rate up, let it go back down. I think that interval training really does well for it. But I'm gonna introduce something else that I think is oftentimes overlooked. Not all the time, but oftentimes overlooked. And that is what helped me kind of come to this realization was John, whenever he told me to breathe. That's what got me to this realization. But also doing the Wim Hof breathing method, Iceman, and also taking yoga.
When you're rolling?
No. Outside. This is outside of jiu-jitsu, Phil. Jesus Christ.
Can you do it right now?
No, I'm not doing the Wim. Ladies and gentlemen, look up Iceman Wim Hof breathing method. For God's sakes.
I'd love to see you defending a triangle. I can't believe you just brought this up.
Oh, I did, Phil. I did, and I'm serious about it. So, if you would, please stop laughing.
Dude, oh man.
Get the microphone, would you? No, I think that outside I think it's really important to have control of your breathing. And I think there's a lot of things that teach you that control of your breath, whether it's meditation, whether it's yoga, hot yoga, or the Wim Hof breathing method. I think that a lot of people that don't have the control of that breath, I think it really rears its head in feeling like you're not conditioned.
Did you see Jeremy's video with his like Ask Professor about the video about the guy who goes too hard? What he told him to do?
I can't remember if I did.
So he had the guy, the question was, I go too hard during rolls or whatever, how do I address that? People have told me I'm a spaz kind of thing, mm-hmm. But I think it applies to the breathing too, because I think this all translates. He had the guy he was only allowed to breathe out of his nose.
Yeah.
So that's going to slow him down dramatically. There's a third thing I'm going to forget, but the second thing he had him do was say the technique out loud before he did it. So that did two things for him, I guess, which was number one, made him actually think and do something he knows. And again, going back to, I'll never forget him saying, like, where in your mind map is that? Right? I'll never forget that. So it allowed him to think and told him basically what's going through his head as he rolls. He sees that as a acceptable next technique for the situation, so it kind of feeds back to him of how he's thinking and what he thinks is good, which then allows him to go back and say, when you're here, you can probably look to do this instead, or why do you think that's a good idea? And, but that slowed the guy down enough and got some information back and forth. I thought that was a neat thing. We've done similar stuff with John does a drill, jiu-jitsu chess, where there's no resistance, and you kind of go back and forth, and each person does a move technique. So that's a similar idea. You're not saying it out loud, but you're just doing it. I think maybe combining the two would be interesting exercise.
I totally agree. I think that's one of the big things too in controlling your breath and that sort of thing, is that you actually have a plan of what to do from those positions. And that mind map, as Jeremy Arell alluded to.
So I think the breathing out of the nose would be, obviously, if you might freak some people out if you were just like, scissor sweep. Like, that would be kind of weird. I get why you might not want to do that if you're so that would be weird. Don't do that, maybe. But if you want to
tell your training partners, right? I mean, listen, you talk to your training partners and be like, hey, I got this advice from the professor. I'm going to try to do it. Don't think I'm a freaking weirdo, because then people are just going to be making fun of you, and it would be hilarious for everybody else. But he's really trying to make his jiu-jitsu better, so that's good.
But if you're working with somebody and you do bring that up and do it, maybe if you're able to get your coach professor there to listen so you can get some feedback, that would be cool. But I think one thing you definitely do on your own, because what I try to do is pay attention to how much I'm sweating when I get started, because that's like my easiest test, right? So always breathing hard at the end is one way to know how hard I've been going. But if I can get through the first roll without breaking like a major sweat, I'm usually pretty happy with that, no matter who it is. Mm-hmm. Because it's like that just kind of shows me control level or whatever.
Yeah.
Self-control level,
I sweat a lot, so that's not going to happen for me.
Once it starts, there's no obviously turning that off. But that's why I'm saying usually in the first roll, I'm always sweating, but there's
that good lather.
Yeah,
I get it.
And I would say the biggest thing for me with conditioning is doing jiu-jitsu, but not just. The thing is, I want to, mm-hmm. My conditioning got better because I wanted to do it, and so I did more of it because it was fun. I hate lifting weights. It's a hassle for me to get myself to run or do any of those things. I don't want to, you know.
It's hard on your joints, man. I mean, run is hard on your joints. I mean, if you want to do something, you know, stationary bike or anything like that, that's less impact on your joints. That's what, like I said, the interval training, that sort of thing. Whenever you're doing that, I think that's definitely a way to get your conditioning up. So
I'm like, to me though, that I would never really choose to do any strength and conditioning outside of jiu-jitsu just because I hate doing it.
Yeah.
The side effect of me liking jiu-jitsu a lot is I'm in pretty good shape and I can roll for a long time. Cool.
And
it's
you can eat cookies.
Yes, and because it's fun, you know. Like I don't know. I can't. The conditioning outside is tough for me because I hate doing it.
Same here. I don't do it. I mean, other than body weight stuff for strength, you know, I really don't do things outside of jiu-jitsu. And again, because it's so fun, I want to do it as much as possible.
So, if my situation ever changes to where I could only train twice a week, I'm sure I would be doing stuff outside. Yeah. I'm just gonna hope it doesn't come to that.
It never will.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. To me, it's like if I'm gonna go work out, I think most people take like 30 to 45 minutes or something, and then I'm assuming driving to the gym and stuff. Like, just go to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, if you are gonna take a block of time, but I mean, I get it. I guess some people work out at home. I mean, I do, but I only have like pull-up stuff. You know, it's not like I have.
Kettlebell pull-up. That's all you
stuff,
need.
You know, I don't know, but conditioning, I think doing jiu-jitsu is going to give you the best results, and for me, it's also the most fun. I get the most out of that, so that's my conditioning program.
Yeah, agreed. No, I'm right there with you, but you know, I just didn't want to address it because one of our listeners asked us about it, so I didn't want to. Yeah. Kind of give our thoughts. And listen, we're not strength and conditioning
but
experts.
Like, you like mountain biking and stuff, so
yeah.
I could see that being beneficial, you know. But you're also enjoying doing it.
Yeah,
it's
not like exercise.
Yeah,
it's not like I'm going out to do something.
You know, if you like hiking and stuff, I could see how maybe you want to hike and push the pace or something, but you're doing what you like. So that's how jiu-jitsu is for me. That's exercise, but I don't view it as exercise. Obviously, I view it as
it's the side effect, not the main cause.
Yeah.
So, So again, we're not experts on strength and conditioning. I've listened to a lot of strength and conditioning stuff on Joe Rogan and other podcasts, but
I did when I got started.
Yeah, me too, and asked this very same question whenever I got started too.
And people, I mean, it's always the same answers, you know. And then there's different body types and stuff. So
yeah, you're right. So Philly, tell people how they can support the BJJ Campaign podcast, the warriors out there.
YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
At BJJ Campaign Podcast.
On all of them.
Yeah.
The website is there.
Buy a shirt. Get one of those sweet BJJ Campaign Podcast shirt.
I think we have a couple left.
Yeah. Going fast, folks.
What was I going to say? We're going to talk about like recovery stuff again soon, but we'll have the CBD stuff on there that you can get.
Yep. One of our newer sponsors to the program, Green Compass, CBD oil. They have oils, creams, all organically raised, tested, all right here in North Carolina. So very excited about that.
And the YouTube stuff will be slowly improving as we improve some other stuff here. So clips and things like that. I'd like to get the instructional of Jeff doing the Wim Hof method to get out of bottom side control. So
maybe I will do that. Also, folks, if you like us and you do jiu-jitsu, you probably have friends that do jiu-jitsu. Heck, you may be like Phil and his only friends do jiu-jitsu.
100%. The best kind to have.
Do jiu-jitsu. And if that's the case, let them know about the podcast. Maybe they can find some benefit out of it as well. Leave a review, anything like that.
Also for females and stuff, just another shout out for AJ's podcast.
Yeah.
I'm caught up on that. I just listened to 2 of them yesterday again.
Yeah. She's got 4 now, her and Jim.
5.
5 now?
Yeah, they've done the first one. They did a self-defense one. They did a competition one. They did the women's camp. And that's 4.
Yeah, she's got 150 people, I think, signed up for... I thought it was 4, but...
Maybe it's 4.
150 people signed up for... 150 women signed up for her camp, which is incredible.
Yeah. So, and everything's through the female perspective because I figured they'd have some different stuff. So they bring up a couple different things that are different if you're a female. So check that out for sure. Especially, and if you know somebody, let them know. AJ's podcast is Beauty and the Gi.
Yep.
On iTunes and all the same places.
AJ Klingerman and Jen Eads. So yeah, great podcast. Shout out to them. But folks, if you're out there trying to get better, do something to get better every day. We try to. We choose jiu-jitsu. We hope you do too.
I'm about to feed him to the sharks right now. Get him hype right now. Yeah. You know the ground is our... Yeah. Everybody that trains, you know the game. Yeah. So let's get it. Slap it up, bump it, and roll. Hey. Yeah, that's the way that it goes. Ain't no better way to better yourself in this game. You're feeling the growth. That's time on the mat. We put in the work. Believe it ain't easy, I know. But we train for the love of the game, the love of the art. Now slap it up, bump it, let's roll.